All right, guys. So, welcome to episode 2, Alpha to Omega on EVE Online. Now, we're going to be doing this with primarily trading. It's going to be kind of difficult since we only have 17 sell orders. It's not impossible. We're also going to be doing a little this and that just to make a little extra money and to kind of fill our time while we're doing our research and stuff. So far, we've done our career agents and we've got a couple ships together. We have a small hauler, a large hauler, and a venture just to grind a little bit of ore while we're looking at all the different items to sell and spreadsheets and stuff. So let's undock real quick. Let's go get up in a belt, and then we're going to start figuring out what exactly we want to sell to make a ton of ISK here in Dodixie. All right, so we are one jump away from Dodixie right now in Agrillarier. I'm not really sure to how to pronounce that. But we're just gonna grab an asteroid. I already kind of looked at the prices, and it looks like condensed scordite is gonna be one of our best. So the reason we picked this system, it's a 0.9. We can still see Dodixie right here from the belts, which is definitely really helpful. And we can also see Botane, which is the next nearest hub. The reason I picked this specific system too, because I realized that it's not always the absolute best to be mining in a 0.9, but I'm not really worried about people coming to gank me out here. It's not to say gankers never come out here, because that's not true. But I mean, I'm just a little venture in a 0.9. I'm not sitting in some of the hotter areas. So I don't really have to be sitting here watching local, watching D-scan all the time. I'm just trying to pick up a little bit of extra ore. Also, there is an Athenor here, so we can compress the ore. It's going to be worth even more. So altogether, this works pretty good. I like the system. One thing I am going to do here, I used to gank miners a little bit back in the day. So from my experience, when you're in a venture and you're orbiting an asteroid, it's kind of difficult to land perfectly on top of the venture. Sometimes it takes a couple attempts, so it can be a little difficult to land on top of them if you're solo, even if you have a scout with combat probes. So you don't even need your prop mod on. If you just orbit an asteroid, it's way, way, way more difficult to gank you. So all that on top, we're pretty reasonably difficult to kill. I don't think we're making ourselves an easy target because we're really not going to be paying super, super attention to the game here. All right, so let's figure out what we are going to sell here in Dodixie. As you saw, one thing I noticed when I was just kind of messing around was there are not many wreaths for sale here in Dodixie. You got this one guy that's like in a million here, and everybody else is 2.3 million. Now, if you look at the price history, we can see that typically each day about 2, 3, we'll say about 2 average. I always like to aim lower on the average to have a little bit lower inventory, right? But that would mean that these two should be sold today. And probably this guy's going to be the only one selling. So now, if we pull up any type of marketing tool, let me grab Eve. Let's see, which one do we want to use? There's so many of them. Eve Market. All right, we'll just use Eve Marketer. So if we pull up Eve Marketer and we look up the wreath here, let's see how it's looking for sell orders. So, okay, this is interesting. Embod. This is actually where I did the newbie stuff at, and it's only maybe 5-6 jumps away from Dodixie. So really, we can get these for $500,000 each, and they're selling for 2. We might be able to go grab 1 or 2 of these. I wouldn't really mind. I don't know if I want to invest everything we have because we only have about 5 million. Maybe we'll just go grab 1 of these from Embod, and we'll bring that over to Dodixie. But usually what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be buying from Jita. I'm not really... Let's see. Is Jita here? Is it a reasonable price? They're a decent price in Heck. They're not really that great of a price in Jita. So from Jita, it's not going to be that great. But it's still early out. We can definitely go get one of these from Mbod. So that's going to be the first one on the list. I actually already put it on the quick bar to remind me to go get one. This guy wasn't here earlier. Hopefully he sells, and we can sneak in right underneath these guys here. Maybe 2.298 million, and then there you go. We just turned 500k ISK into 2 million after fees. That's pretty decent for a trade. So those are the kind of things I'm looking for. I'm always looking for how much of this is moving, how fast is the competition. Okay, so let's jump into a couple more tools that are going to help us like really figure out exactly how to do this. All right, are we mining that asteroid? Yeah, we are. Okay, perfect. No, that's the wrong one. Let's exit that so we don't pull it back up. Perfect. Okay, I got the other videos uploading at the moment, so I think we can get rid of this as well, but let's focus in. So if we use evetrade.space, what we're going to do here is really focus on station to station. We do in region to region too when we do trade goods, but for now, we're just going to look at station to station. So we're always going to buy from Jita, and we're always going to sell in Dodixie. Now, this is set up to buy from a sell order and usually go to a buy order, but you want it to go from a sell order to a sell order. Now, our max cargo capacity on our small truck is 400, so we're going to leave that there. And we'll say our max budget right now is, let's say it's about 4 million, right? Because that's pretty much everything we have. Only return profits above 500,000. I'm cool with that for now. Minimum return on investment, 250%. This is okay too. So I think default it's 4%. We're definitely looking for bigger stuff, so we're going to put this at 250%. Right? So let's click search. Usually it takes a minute. There's a lot of stuff for it to sort through. We'll just pop back to the game for a second. Everything's looking good. All right, what are we at cargo on this? We got plenty of time before we got to go warp over. Okay, cool. So some of these return on investments here, these are insane, right? These are way crazy. So people are selling like a drone navigation for, nobody's going to buy this, right? These are all a waste of time. And we don't want to get into the super competitive stuff anyway. So I'm okay with something that sells 1 a day. I'd rather it sell 2 or 3 a day, right? So let's flip this over real quick so that the ROI is closer to 250. And I got just a pen and a notebook here, and I'm just going to write down a couple of the things that I think are going to be super interesting for us to look at. We'll get a list of a few of them, and then we'll go back in game and we'll start looking at what are the volumes of these items. So just jumping right in, I'm really looking for like this one here. This is kind of interesting. I think we can go for a little bit better return here. 5 million, we're spending 1.9. I don't really like going for these named items. Let's jump over a little bit. Let's get into like the 500% return area. So if we look at, I don't really want skins. What's this? 75 millimeter compressed coil gun. So 124,000 investment for 587, net profit 4 million is what they're thinking on here. So I'm going to write that one down for sure. 75 millimeter compressed coil. Okay, so there's one. Let's see what else we got. We have, see, like items like this, the Corpy C-type. Yeah, there's a lot of ISK in them, but man, it's really easy for them to sit for a long time. The same with the skins and everything. I'm really looking for just things that are a little bit easier to to kind of work on. You know what I mean? I need a little bit of flow coming from these items. Let's grab another asteroid real quick. And I feel super disorganized on this video, but this is actually how I do it. So, I mean, it is what it is, right? All right. So back to looking here. Large dynamic fuel. No, that's not really. We're looking for like kind of common fittings here. Dread Garistas, compressed sparkle. No hacking. Okay, here's a book here. Hacking. Okay, you can get it for 28,000. See, now books, they recently changed it, and I'm not really into the way that they changed it, because you can buy the books without buying them from the market. I'm not really sure exactly how that works. We're getting a lot of skins, couple blueprints, Serpentis crystal tag. I've never bought that in game. I'm not really familiar with that item. Let's see, what do we got here? Imperial Navy thermal plating. So that's a green item. Sometimes I'll go for green items. Right now I'm not trying. Oh, here we go. So small focused model pulse laser. Perfect. So if we invest 88,000 and we sell them for 577, these are going to be fantastic. Okay. So small focused model pulse laser. Got it. All right, so that's how I do 2 of the items. I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna find a handful more. I have up to 17 sell orders, so I'd really like to probably buy about 20 items. Now you kind of get the concept. So I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna pick 20 items total. When I get done, I'm going to throw all this into a spreadsheet, and then we're going to start looking at the volumes of items and figure out which ones are going to be the best to sell. So be right back. All right, so I'm warping back to this Athenor right now to compress the rest of my ore. This is my second load. I've found 21 items that I thought were reasonably okay, 22 if you count the wreath. And I went through each item, and I looked at what the price was in Dodixie, and what is the volume that they sell every day. I'll show you what that looks like. It didn't take me very long. It's about 2 full loads on the venture to get all this done. But these are the items I came up with, and I'm sure you guys are going to steal these, and that's okay, because the market is always moving. Every couple weeks, you got to kind of look at this and move things around. But this is really what I found, and this is the volume of it. There's a few items here that were a little concerning that I definitely want to talk about before we head up to JITA to fill in all the JITA prices and then really figure out what we want to invest in and how much we're going to invest. So some of these items were a little crazy. I actually took them and I marked them all in my quick bar. And there's a few specifically I want to look at. So the X5 Enduring, we all know about this item. This is a really popular item in PvP. If you look at the quantities here, these bigger quantities, these are clearly people that are selling. They're either creating these with industry, or they're just buying them somewhere else and they're trading them here. There's quite a few more here. This item, I'm going to disqualify this item. It's too competitive, and I don't want to have to modify my order constantly. So we are going to remove this X5 from there, and let's go ahead and delete that row from the sheet. Right, so let's look at some of these other ones. Some of these, there's quite a few there. I don't really see this as too competitive on here. It's not the worst thing I've seen, but the issue is there is quite a few people selling this, and if we look at the quantity of these per day that are actually going, it's 3, 5. If you average it out, I'd say like 4 or 5 of these total sell per day. And there's a lot of people selling this extra large shield booster. So for me, that's just not going to work. The competition is definitely a little high on it, so let's delete that off the sheet as well. All right, so let's keep going. Now here's an interesting one, the small focused model laser one. So we talked about this one earlier, and here's the interesting thing. In the entire region, there's none of them. But if you look at the amount daily, there's like 5 or 6 selling every day. Now, this is a Tech 1. It is not like a Meta 4 or anything like that. So I can't imagine you're going to be able to sell this for a whole ton, but we might be able to get it for next to nothing and 5, 6, 10 times the amount of ISK that we invest, depending on what it's selling for in JITA. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. This one here, it's great. There's really only a couple people that are really trying to sell. This guy here he's way undercutting the market. Kind of rude. More than likely, that's not a trader. That's a manufacturer that doesn't really understand trade very well. So here's another one here. So the small ancillary, right? Now, really, there's just a couple people here, and their prices aren't too bad. If this thing really starts to sell, which I'm pretty sure the volume on this, it's not bad. It's 9, 10 a day. They move quite quickly. So within a day, we'll probably have a lot of these gone. And if nobody puts any more on the market, we're going to be right back up to 114. I don't feel like I'm going to compete with a lot of these guys, because if you look at the dates that these expire in, they probably put them up for 90 days. These have not been updated in a long while. Some of these have, like 89 days, 89 days, 88 days. So I think this is a reasonable item that we're not going to like fight to the bottom on that. And I've gone through and I've looked at most of these items. Like, this is an ideal item here, the omnidirectional tracking link 1. It's a little cheap, but let's see what the volume is on it. It's 10. So, honestly, this might not move enough ISK to justify taking up one of our slots. So we might have to look onward. Let's see. We have this is a Tech 2. It's a little outside of our budget right now. Soon we'll be able to invest into the stuff that's costing closer to $1 million. The medium clarity. This could be good. This could be good. These people haven't updated their orders in a while. There's only a few in front right now. The daily volume is 21. So that's pretty good. I know that getting 60K ISK doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're doing that 10 times a day, that's 600K for us. That's a pretty big come up right now. I'll take that. In the future, we're definitely going to go for a lot bigger wins, but for now, we're just trying to stay reasonably small. This is a way too over. Yeah, we're going to remove the medium ancillary booster. Take that off of the sheet. Delete row. Okay, perfect. So now we're down to 18 items. A little bit more filtering, and we probably got it. I'm pretty happy with this list. A lot of these, there's not like a ton of sell orders. The Enduring Multispectrum Shield Hardener. This is a very contested item, and I do not think that this is going to be a good fit for us. We can probably get a few sales off of that, to be honest. It's not going to be the end of the world, but I just don't want to have to modify orders constantly. That's not awful. Let's see, we got the large shield hardener here. It's not awful. It looks like there's really only one competitive person. Everybody else is waiting. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this list. So in total, this is exactly how many items we need. This is 17 items. So this is what we're going to go with. The next step is to take the sheet. We're going to go up to JITA, and we're going to get all this filled in. I don't know what we're going to price these at yet. We're probably going to look on another site to see what a reasonable price is for this. We'll get our JITA prices, and then I'm going to show you how to fill in the formulas and kind of calculate how much to buy. We're not going to buy the full daily volume. We're only going to get a small piece of this per day, but we're going to go buy a few days of inventory at once. We just got to see what the investment's going to be to really make our decisions. Some of these items, like this guy, is going to blow our whole budget. It's probably not going to make it this round, but a lot of these cheaper items, we can definitely make this work. So in total right now, we have, let's see, 4.7 million, and I am bringing a load in right now. Let's throw this in here and compress this real quick. Compress. So we now have another 1.3 million that we can add in. So we're going to take that back to Dodixie, and we will run it up to Jita. On our way up to Jita, we might as well sell this ore in Jita, and then we are going to look at some prices and get our first load. So I will see you guys when I make it all the way back up to Jita. Alright guys, so we're back at Jita. I've already went through and filled out all the price. So let's go through and create the rest of the spreadsheet so we can really figure out exactly what we're doing here. So the difference here is going to equal what we can sell it for minus what we bought it for in Jita. And we can autofill that in, right? This one is going to be none. So why don't we just put, we could probably sell this for, I'm thinking 250,000. So let's take this, highlight it, and we're going to format it with conditional formatting and then do a color scale. All right, now we need to kind of calm this down. We want the middle point to be 0, and then we want to do from green to red. There we go. All right, so now we're able to see which ones are crazy. You can already see right off the bat we can make 2.9 mil off of these drone navigation computers. Reason being, I already came up here and looked. Look, there's 6 of them on sale. Usually these are 2.4. Somebody came in super cheap. So how much ISK do we have? We're just gonna like invest everything into these, is what it's looking like, because these move 13 a day. So let's buy these real quick before they disappear. How much do we have? We have 5.8. I think we can get 4. No, we can get 3. So we'll buy those. All right, so now we're down to 1.3 mil. Perfect. Let's go back to our list. All right, so we got 3 of those. Okay, so let me show you guys how to kind of figure out how much to buy on these. It's going to give you a little bit of context. So this is the daily volume that sells in Dodixie total, right? So we want our stock amount to equal the daily volume times, let's say, about 0.1. Let's be super conservative here and say that 10% of all sales we can take. All right, and now we're going to multiply that by how many days worth of inventory do we want. Let's just do 3 days for now. All right, and we're going to fill that in. So even this computer here, I wish I would have had an extra one, but we're right on target with that. So now really we're just going to look and see which ones are going to bring us the most amount of money. So the ISK in is going to equal what we paid for it times the stock amount, and that is our ISK in amount. And then our ISK out amount is going to equal how much stock we bought. All right, I'm confusing myself here. How much stock we bought times, I believe we can just do the difference, right? So let's fill that in. Okay, perfect. So this is how much ISK we're gonna get out. Now let's make this formula a little bit more accurate. Now, let's say out of all of this here, let's actually multiply this by like 0.8, because I feel like that's going to be realistic after fees and everything. I don't want to like overshoot here. So let's do a color scale on this one as well. Alternate color. Nope, that's the wrong one. Control Z. Oh, edit, redo. Grab that row, format, conditional, color scale. This is going to be 0, and we're going to change it like that. Okay, so we're looking at making about 9 million on this one here. Let's delete this 9 mil real quick just to see. Okay, so it's looking like these shield extenders down here and this coil gun is going to be, it's going to do very well for us. So we only need 5 of these coil guns. How much ISK did we have left? Let's take a look. I think we had 1.3. Okay, perfect. 1.3. So let's figure out what exactly we're going to buy. So here's 500,000 here. Another 500,000 here. So that would mean we make an extra 3.2 mil. And then we have another 300K to spend. So maybe we'll do, we can do these as well. So let's mark these green just so I don't forget. So we want this, we want this, and we said we wanted, oh, we already got that one. And we're gonna get this. So these 3 things. All right, cool. I'm gonna buy these real quick, and then I'm gonna head over to Dodixie, and we'll get these things up for sale. All right, cool. There's the 4 things we bought. It isn't 17. We're limited on ISK. If we had more ISK, we could have more options. I think these are some really solid choices, though. We can see that we're gonna make a ton of ISK when we invest into these items, and it looks all good to me. So I will see you all in a few. So I am on my way back right now, and we are getting ready to move through Udema. I wanted to talk about Udema in case you didn't know. This is a system that is typically ganked a lot. They're looking for people just like us that are moving expensive cargo. Ours isn't really that expensive. If it was 100 mil, it would be pretty enticing for somebody to hit us with a catalyst or something very cheap, or even a thrasher. It wouldn't take a lot to take the ship down. So what we're doing to combat that is I'm using Udema Scout. This is actually a Twitch channel that's showing me Udema here. I can see that there's one ganker in the system, and there hasn't been kills in a while, so I'm pretty comfortable going through there right now. But Abazan is, it's not the same story right now. They're ganking the absolute hell out of it. There's all kinds of people sitting on the gate with Lokis and insta lockers and stuff like that. So you need to kind of pay attention and make sure that you're not running through these areas with a bunch of valuable cargo whenever they're being actively camped by gankers, or it could cost you a load. And I mean, we have everything invested now. The only thing we would be able to do is go back to our venture and mine for several hours to make up for this, and that's not really something I want to do. So don't use autopilot. Make sure that you're paying attention and don't get ganked. All right, so we are back here in Dodixie. Got our load here all safe and sound. Let's start listing some of this stuff. I want to get it on here as soon as possible. So the first thing I want to start with here, let's do them in order. Let's start with the 75 millimeter. Now, because we used a sheet and we tracked this, I know that I got these for like 124K a piece. So I'm pretty comfortable selling it at 749,400. I know I'm not losing anything on that. So we're gonna take all this, drop it into our item hanger, and let's get to selling. So first one is going to be 749,400. And we want this to be over 3 months, and perfect. Go ahead, and why is it not letting us sell? Oh, we don't have enough money to cover our fees. Well, it looks like a few mistakes were made. I definitely gotta go get the broker fees. They're a little higher than I expected on an alpha account, but lesson learned. But overall, I think this is pretty good. This is our full order here. I put up in what it would look like to sell it. We get to pay all the fees up front, so that definitely feels good. But to sell all of this, what did we pay for this? 4.8 mil. We're looking at making about 17 and a half, 17 mil. Now this is obviously going to be a little bit lower because we will modify our orders and drop them a little bit, but worst case scenario, I would think all day for that 4.8 we spent, we will make at least 10 mil. So that one trip we were able to double our risk. I'm pretty happy with that. Uh, I went out for a mining run and I brought myself back about 600K. So that's it's gonna take me a minute to get 2 million. Looks like I got to do a couple runs, but hey, it's just what we got to do to get things started. Once that's done, I'm never getting in that venture again. It is pretty terrible watching it spin around that asteroid and go as slow as it goes. So anyway, I'm going to wrap the episode up here. I'm going to go finish mining this up, get all this stuff listed. I will see you guys here soon.